and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.
Welcome to episode 56 of the Out of Voices podcast. We are your hosts, Keem and Esme, and we are back after a pretty long hiatus.
Really long hiatus. I'm sorry, guys. My schedule has sucked this month. So,
but hopefully from this point on, we'll be back to normal. Well, as normal as we are.
Yeah, I was going to say, whose definition of normal are you using, Keem?
Yeah, we certainly aren't normal. Trying to think. But yeah, we'll be hopefully back to the
at least
weekly
a normal
basis.
Recording schedule.
Right. Because we'll have extra time. And let me apologize in advance, guys. I am out of it today. Just plumb out of it. But it's been a stressful couple weeks. So between personal life and my God, the current events, which we'll get to in a bit. I'll get to a little bit in a bit. It's just the world's going wild, and I am fucking exhausted from it.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of more signs that the world is going wild, just gone off. Like I am sure we slipped into the worst timeline.
That has seemed pretty evident for a while.
This is not part of the news segment, but I want to bring this up because this blew my mind. Did you hear about the woman in I think it was Oklahoma that was mauled to death by a pack of dogs?
Mm-mm.
Can you guess what kind of dogs they were?
No, what are you talking about?
She was mauled to death by a pack of weiner dogs. She was out for a jog, and apparently this was a pack of feral wiener dogs.
What?
And
I mean, no, I shouldn't laugh. A woman is dead, but goddamn, what?
Yes. They attacked her, brought her down, and killed her. Animal control was able to, get this pack of wild beasts, and they're going to be euthanized. But yeah, that happened.
What?
Actually, you know what? Let's segue into the news segment because I got 2 more things to say about dogs.
Okay.
This is gonna be this. All right, we're officially in the news segment with that, and what next thing I'm about to say. Second dog related thing. There is a hashtag going on around the internet. And I can't remember the exact hashtag. I'm going to have to look it up again. But where people are going and either buying or adopting pit bulls, or finding people's pit bulls, or stealing them in order to euthanize or take to kill shelters to be euthanized. All in an attempt to wipe out pit bulls as a breed.
That is horrifying. Pit bulls are adorable and sweet and loving. And unfortunately really easy, no, not unfortunately, and also extremely strong and easy to train, which makes them ideal for like training to fight, right? Because you can train them to do that, right? But pit bulls are so sweet.
Pit bulls raised normally are the sweetest, most protective dogs, and they're stupid. Mm-hmm. But they're stupid in a sweet way.
All they want to do is make you happy,
right?
And take care of their people.
but pit bulls have gotten such a bad reputation because they've gotten a bad reputation for two reasons. Because pit bulls are not a very aggressive breed of dog.
Yeah.
Despite what people believe, there are many other breeds that people have normally that are way more aggressive.
Oh, you want to? Do you know one of the most aggressive breeds of dog?
I was gonna say labs.
Also.
Dalmatians. Chihuahua.
And dachshunds.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I was mentioning this. But yeah, there are so many other breeds of dogs that are more aggressive, that are responsible for more attacks. The breed that's responsible for the most attacks is actually labs.
Yeah.
Because they're the most owned dogs. But so the pit bulls get the rep that they're aggressive because they've been used traditionally for dog fights. Mm-hmm. But so have bulldogs. But so that's one reason they get the bad reputation. But the other reason is less to do with the dogs, but more on who gets those dogs. The dogs that get the worst out of the aggressive dog reputation are usually pit bulls, Rottweilers, and Doberman.
Yep.
Those dogs are traditionally owned by Black Americans. Mm-hmm. These are dogs that Black people mostly have. And in most cases, you will not hear a Black person say anything about those three types of dogs being aggressive or being afraid of them. Mm-hmm. But society has this fear of them, and it's tied to, of course, and it's so weird how racism permeates everything. Mm-hmm. You put a racial stigma on dogs, like, and now it's gone too far to have people actively taking innocent dogs, puppies, taking them from homes, from loving homes, and even worse, taking them from people who are trying to rehome them that can't take care of them anymore.
Yeah.
So people are putting their trust in people that their dog's going to be taken care of, and they are killing them. All to wipe out what they view as a dangerous breed. It's eugenics. It's eugenics with dogs. And it's playing off a racial undertone. And that fucking blows my mind. So I will find the hashtag. I can't remember what it's called, but I will find the hashtag. And if you see people posting this as a way of like hunting down and finding pit bulls to kill, report the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Report them and specifically report them for animal abuse, because you get some nice jail time for animal abuse.
Yeah.
Fucking animal. Fucking people are, and people like that. People who would purposefully seek out and murder animals like that should not be allowed to exist. They need to be locked somewhere. And it's just fucking tears me apart that not only is it happening, but people are trying to make it viral. They're trying to make it popular. And I just don't get it. I don't see what kind of heart. And these people think they're doing the right thing. They think, oh, we're eliminating a dangerous breed of animal. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, the most dangerous breed of animal that's involved here is you pieces of shit. I'm sorry, guys, I'm a little hot.
You're off the handle today.
And it's.
Do you want a cute story though?
Get worse.
Do you want a cute story though to like lighten the mood before we dig into some more shit?
Go for it.
So when I was growing up, there was an old couple that lived across the alley from us, and they had a Rottweiler that was genuinely like a public health like hazard, right? Because he loved you too much, but also he was extremely overweight. And so if he got out of his yard and saw you in the alley, he would run up to you, knock you down, and then like stand on your chest and lick your face.
Oh.
And he weighed so much that like that was like, if you're like, when I like this happened when I was like in middle school, right? I was not that big. I was not that strong. And this dog weighed something like twice as much as I did. And he would come like knock me down and like stand on me and lick my face. And somebody would have to come like push him off of me so that I could get up and like take a full breath again.
See, that's just
yeah.
cute.
He was a sweet dog. Sweet dog.
That actually reminds me. Of course, the audience doesn't know, but I've told you about. I had a German Shepherd for years.
Yeah.
Named Tifa, and she was my big baby. She was nearly 100 pounds, and just a massive dog. But she was my puppy, and she always thought she was my puppy. And she, even at like 8-9 years old, she wanted me to carry her around. And so she always intimidated people. Like people that visited knew she wasn't dangerous. And when she was like in a pen, or we had her on a chain. We had her on a chain on the outside, but it wasn't like she was like restrained. She had full run of the yard. We just lived out in the country, so we couldn't just have her like wandering around because she could get shot.
Yeah.
So she had a long like free chain to roam the yard. But anytime she would see you, she would just run at you. Not barking or anything. She just run at you like tongue hanging out and headbutt you. Like that was her thing. She would run you full force and just butt her head into you, and then try to get you to pick her up. And more often than not, especially with me and my mom, she would headbutt us and knock us down, and just like lay on us. And my mom was a little woman. My mom was like 5'2", 100 and something pounds, like little woman. So this dog that's almost as big as her, it just runs and headbutts her and knocks her down. And my mom just never got mad. She just like, Tifa, calm down, get off me.
Yep.
But like with dogs, once again, even with aggressive breeds, it's more about the people they're with than what they are. Because dogs are social animals. Yep. They learn from the things around them. The more aggressive you are, or the more you're likely to display aggression, the more aggressive the more likely they're going to be to display aggression.
Yep.
Like, you're the leader of the pack. Be the pack leader. Don't blame it on them. Anyway, another dog story. This is my final dog story, and another story about people being the shit part of dog, like the shit part of stuff, and how we don't deserve dogs. Like, we don't deserve dogs and cats. Like, they are too pure and innocent for we shitty human beings. So, in Illinois police claim that if marijuana is legalized, they would have to euthanize the police dogs.
Like, no, I don't think that you would, but okay.
What they said was, it would be abusive to try to retrain the dogs not to be sensitive to marijuana. So, since there's abusive, since retraining them would be abusive, they would just have to put them down. And they said the dogs are trained not to be social, so they can't be, given like homes or anything. So they would just have to kill them. First of all, what the hell? That should make people question the training they're putting police dogs through. If the police are going, well, to teach them not to be sensitive to marijuana would be abusive. To do that training would be abusive. How are you training them in the first place?
Yeah, right.
Secondly, dogs are social animals. They're social creatures. If the whole thing, if you're training them to not be social, that is one, not good for the dog, and two, not good for the police officer with the dog. Because that dog has to be social with those police officers. It has to know that the police officers are on its side, part of its pack. And if you're teaching them not to be social, then you're like, that's bad for the dog. That's bad, and it's dangerous to you.
Yeah.
And that could explain, because there have been tons of instances where innocent people have been attacked by police dogs and have ended up in jail for years for fighting off and defending themselves from police dogs. And of course, you get assaulting an officer for that. But if you're training the dogs to be extra aggressive to anyone, what do you expect to happen? Like this, the military doesn't even train dogs like that. Like military dogs are very socialized. As a matter of fact, for military dogs, when they quote unquote retire from the military, they have to be sent home with usually vets, like veterans, not veterinarians. Yeah. But they usually have to be sent home with vets or a parent with vets, because those dogs are so social that they cannot not be around people.
Yeah. But
the police dogs are so antisocial, apparently, and so unable to be trained to not be, that the only solution is you'd have to put them down. And one more thing. This is another way law enforcement and other officials are trying to justify the prohibition of marijuana. Because they're trying to play on people's emotions. They're going, hey, if you legalize marijuana, you're going to be letting all these criminals go. Not only letting all these criminals go free, but we're going to have to kill these dogs. And no one wants to see a dog be killed. And that kind of shitty emotional manipulation and politicking is fucking horrible. Just to keep your fucking dangerous and racist practices in line.
I mean, surprise.
It's difficult because, so I obviously I'm pissed about all these news stories, and I'm pissed about millions more. But stories like this everything gets so piled on, and you're mad about so many things. These stories that should be bigger than they are once again just like you get a day of them and then they go away because the next awful thing has been said or the next awful thing has been done.
Yep. Yeah, there's no way to keep up, right? And that's, I think, one of the reasons that everybody in the world is so messed up right now, is because trying to keep up, it means exposing yourself to a never-ending onslaught of horrible stories that all by rights should get airtime, but they don't.
And either you always feel, and the options are you're always angry, you always feel like garbage, or you become desensitized to it and you feel nothing.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm always angry, I always feel like garbage phase.
Yeah.
It's sad. I know you had talked about before. You wanted to like touch on it very briefly. The shooting. What was it? Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday morning in Santa Fe, Texas, which is a suburb of Houston. I don't want to talk in depth about it, but I just want to acknowledge that this happened. Another young white man with visible sympathies to white supremacy, to Nazi ideology, has taken weapons into a school, shot his classmates and teachers. 10 people are dead, 10 more are injured. And the governor of Texas is making sounds, a politician in one of these states is finally making sounds about actually doing something about it, rather than thoughts and prayers. He's saying, this governor is, the last that I heard, has said that he is that he's going to look into any option that is available to prevent this from happening again. We'll see what that means.
Was this the same governor? Because from what I had heard, that the governor of Texas said that the reason this happened was that there were too many exits in the school.
Oh yeah, same governor.
Yeah, that schools needed less exits. Basically, he said schools just need one central exit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that will totally happen, or that will totally go over well if there's ever a fire.
Exactly. Or, even worse, if another shooter comes in and is at that central exit.
Yep.
Your solution to the problem is
to make the problem worse.
Yes, to basically trap victims inside instead of like.
Anyway, but I don't want to talk about it. I just wanted to acknowledge it.
It's not even humanity. For fuck's sake, I keep making excuses for why I'm not done with you all. Not our listeners, just humanity in general.
Yeah.
But you make it really, really hard. If aliens made themselves known right now and pulled me up on their ship and said, make a case for humanity, or we'll wipe the planet. The only thing I would probably say is save the kids. That's it. It's getting very hard to make a case for humanity. Sorry.
No, yeah.
If you guys can't tell, I am fucking frustrated as all shit.
Yes.
So you're getting it today. You're getting frustrated, Keem.
I get frustrated, Keem, all the time.
Yeah. This week especially, I've tried to like push it down a bit, which was a mistake. Very big mistake. But I've been trying to push it down because I am frustrated very often, and I am often exhausted with people and news and everything. But yeah, one day I'll figure out how to handle it or not. So at least I'm going into a job field that I'll have medical benefits to fix the myriad of health problems that this is going to cause. Anyway, let's move on into our topic segment, which it's also probably going to have a lot of anger from me, but it's not as heavy, I think, as the news segment, but
Yeah.
It's also gonna involve some anger. But we're gonna get into our topic segment after a brief musical little interlude. Enjoy.
Take the time it takes to mop up the mess that got forgotten in the slanted light of afternoon. I've been here for half the day, been counting seconds since I took the order to let me write your name onto a coffee cup. I'll sell my labor, sell your coffee, but not able to speak up. Starbucks, Karl Marx, unrequited love. If you ask me what I'm thinking, that's what I've been thinking of. Clean the thing that makes the milk steam. You know I never learned its name. I'll check the clock, see if the hands move, see if it's yet that time of day when I'll take my time, I'll turn it into a disappointed wage that'll never make you see me as a person, not a worker in a stupid chain cafe. Starbucks, Karl Marx, unrequited love. If you ask me what I'm thinking, that's what I've been thinking of. Conditions. Oh, I'm a well-conditioned man. Try the new menu additions. Wish you could meet me where I am instead of Starbucks, Karl Marx, unrequited love. If you ask me what I'm thinking, that's what I've been thinking of. If you ask me what I'm thinking, that's what I've been thinking of.
And welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys aren't sleeping, because we are going to talk about being woke, because that is a buzzword nowadays.
Yup.
People, like everyone's claiming they're woke, or stay woke, or be woke, and I'm woke, and you're woke, and everybody's awoken, waken, whatever. But let's ask. We're going to answer some questions. What the fuck does it mean? What does being woke, quote unquote, mean? What should it mean? Why does the overuse of it piss Keem off? These are all questions we're going to answer over this topic segment.
You're real loopy. Your rhetorical style has gotten real weird today.
Yeah.
Sorry, meta conversation there. Anyway.
But first, so this is what kind of we're gonna talk about something, and what we talked about is what triggered this conversation. But this is something that's been going on the past, for me anyway, on a personal level. The topic of being woke and what that means has been like coming up a lot in the past like month or two. But it came up recently with Childish Gambino's, aka Donald Glover's, latest song, "This Is America." Esme, have you heard or seen the video yet?
Yes, I have. Thank you very much.
Well, I sent it to you weeks ago and you never said anything, so...
Because I didn't listen. I didn't watch it then.
Of course, I know you didn't. Anyway, but the video was and song are very coded. It has a lot to say about being black in America, gun violence, all kinds of stuff. Like so much imagery, and like it's an amazing video. If you haven't gone to check it out, if you haven't checked it out yet, which I mean, at this point, it's been so popular that most of you who probably listen to this have already listened to it and have already seen it. But go check it out. And if you want to know all the symbols and shit in there, I mean, there are plenty of think pieces about it. But there are some like straight up crazy symbolism. Like at one point he does like Sambo pose, like Sambo minstrel pose. There is an allusion to Dylan Roof and those murders. Literally the pale horse of death is riding through the background at one point. Mm-hmm. Like amazing stuff. And so that video came out and everyone was analyzing it and everybody was doing this and doing that. The conversation I then ran into in the quote unquote woke black community shifted. And it was because they said nothing in the video mattered because Donald Glover was married to a white woman. And because of that,
was that why everybody is pissed off?
They're pissed off, one, because he's married to a white woman, and two, way back, like when he first started like rapping and stuff, one of his things was black women don't date me. That was it.
Okay.
I mean, that's a whole nother conversation which I've had with people about black dating and how weird quote unquote black people, like nerdy black people or whatever, alternate black people, they do have a hard time dating within our own race due to some internalized negative attitudes towards what is black and what is acceptable and all that, and even what is woke. Anyway, I digress from that. But they, of course, said he wasn't woke enough to be making these statements, and because he was married to a white woman, and the entire message means nothing. So that brought on the conversation of what being woke meant. And this was in a group that I actually founded that somebody was trying to tell somebody what being woke meant. And this person said, well, being woke means putting black people first. They said, being woke means you see what's going on with black people, and this is as a black person. You see what's going on with black people, and you're for black people, and you put black people first on everything. Meaning, you date inside you don't date other races. You only listen to things that aren't problematic, have no problematic things towards black people, which there's no such thing.
Yeah,
America.
right.
but but that's what this person said. Like, and if you don't do all those things, then you're not woke. And which then made me question. So, I mean, there are a lot of people in a lot of different ethnicities that say they're woke. What they're woke. So obviously, though, like that definition, there must be other definitions, right? Because
I mean, presumably.
I know good and damn well that every definition in every ethnicity means putting black people first. So then I started doing some research, of course. And, of course, different stuff came out. Sometimes being woke was seeing the issues with women and, trying to, battle issues against women. Or, in the LGBT community, what being woke meant. And this and that. It varied from, like, place to place, group to group. And it but I ended up settling on a definition of what being woke meant. And that was simply, all right, you see how shitty and fucked up our society and our world is. You see the problematic things. And you're speaking out against it.
Yeah. My working, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, right, since we're talking about what is woke, right, I'm sort of thinking that the definition, the working definition that I've been using, right, like what it means when I think about it, it's not just seeing the problematic shit that exists in our world, it's looking at the causes of it instead of the symptoms. Right? It's looking at the systemic reason that these things exist, not the symptom of the thing existing. Right? Like if you are not woke, for an example, right? Like if you're not woke, you look at the disproportionate rate of black men in prison and say, oh, black men are violent. And if you are woke, you start to look at the economic and the systemic policing and all of the other issues, the current laws on the system that put black men into prison more often, right? And see what that and that's my working definition. So
right. I mean, very 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 simply, it's being aware.
Yeah.
According to Merriam-Webster, and I'll give you the Webster's definition, woke is to be aware of and actively attentive to important facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. Mm-hmm. So
yes, that's
basically what we said. Simplified. So
because you and I are both verbose,
right? So. That's what woke means. Like, that's what woke means. And this is where the problem starts. Because the term itself has become a pop culture term. And it's a pop culture term that pretty much everyone wants to be on some level. Like you want to be woke. Like you want to say that you're woke. You want to say that you're aware. To the point that it becomes a competition.
Oh, you mean like ally?
Exactly. But it becomes this stupid competition on people trying to prove who is more woke, or trying to go, well, you're not woke enough because you're not aware of this, or you don't believe this way, so you don't get to be woke.
Yeesh.
And be aware. First of all, to be aware isn't a competition. The more people are actually aware of what's happening in society, that's supposed to push us towards betterment, not more infighting, not trying to destroy one another in a competition on who gets to be more aware or more woke. And it pisses me off because people have been using it so much as a way to demean people.
Yeah.
I speak for once again. I am black. I am nerdy. I speak for those communities. Black, nerdy, atheist. I speak for those communities, and I see that a lot, especially in those communities that the way woke is being used to destroy one another, especially woke is being used to discredit someone's place as a black person, to erase their blackness in some way. So today, for instance, the arguments have popped up because of the royal wedding in Great Britain or whatever, and Meghan Markle being African American and black people. All right, she's light skinned. I get it. She's African American. She's black, just like the rest of us. She's black. No argument. Even if she doesn't doesn't appear and act quote unquote black, she black. Like, if she wasn't famous or marrying the prince or whatever, she got pulled over in Mississippi, she'd get treated the same way.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get that off the table. But there were arguments this morning about the black people who were watching the royal wedding and enjoying it, and how those people were traitors, and because they weren't woke, because everything about the royal wedding is apparently demeaning to black people, and Meghan Markle isn't black enough to even be black, and you don't get to enjoy watching this because you're not woke, and all that bullshit. And it's a spectacle. Like, royal weddings are a spectacle. That's all they are.
I mean, I would argue that weddings are a spectacle.
I mean, true, but
that's just me.
This is a global thing, a global wedding, basically. So people are interested, and it's okay for you to be interested. To be interested in watching that. It's meant to be watched. But that is not a signifier of someone's awareness of what's going on in society. You can be well aware of white privilege, and I mean this is the royal family. They're the ultimate picture of white privilege. They're literal royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can be well aware of that and still enjoy the spectacle. You can be like, this is real white privilege, but that dress is fire though. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And you don't get to attack people because they don't view things in the same manner that you do. You don't. The people that get me the most are these, pardon my language, I know you're fuck it, these hotep ass niggas.
I like that you continue to apologize before you say shit.
Because, look, it's difficult being unapologetically black.
Yeah.
With white people. Even white people I know.
Anyway, go back in on the hoteps.
But these hotep ass niggas with these super problematic attitudes towards everyone.
Yes.
Are always the first people to claim, first of all, claim they're woke and aware of everything, and to demean other people, especially other black people, for not being as aware as them. Like, these motherfuckers, everything's a goddamn conspiracy. And adding on to that, if you believe every goddamn conspiracy that you hear, you are not woke. You are a dumb fucker. Because everything is not a goddamn conspiracy.
But the Illuminati, man.
Oh my God, if I hear any more motherfuckers with this Illuminati bullshit, black folks love this goddamn Illuminati bullshit. There is no goddamn Illuminati.
I derailed you, I'm sorry.
So, no, now I get to go in on, but now I get to go on this, because anytime somebody gets popular, anytime a musician or actor or whatever gets popular, it's always, they joined the Illuminati. Look at Kanye West, he joined the Illuminati. And look at the way he's acting. Kanye West is fucked up. But he's not a part of any secret organization to rule the world. First of all, why the fuck would a secret organization rule the world use goddamn Kanye West to control everything?
Because he's the last person anyone would suspect.
Yeah. I had someone tell me, I had a coworker tell me one time that she went out with this guy who said he was an up and coming rapper in Mississippi, by the way, where half the young unemployed people think they're up and coming rappers. And he said he was up and coming, and he got invited to an Illuminati party. And that some Illuminati, and he got the party with all these famous people, and some Illuminati member asked him to come join the Illuminati, but he had to sacrifice somebody, because that's what you have to do. Like, if you to join the Illuminati, you have to sacrifice a loved one according to whoever made this shit up. But they said they approached him, but he turned it down. And that's why he's not bigger than he is right now, because he turned down the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm, totally.
And I told her, if you believe that shit, you dumb as hell. Like, if you think there is a secret evil organization that's controlling all the celebrities in the world, and they're secret behind the scenes, you think they're gonna let his little country ass go to a party, say no, and come out and be fine? What kind of secret organization is that? No, if you're a secret organization controlling the world, he is dead as dicks. That's it. They killed him. People don't understand how secret organizations work. If it's a secret, guess what you don't know? You don't know it exists. The whole point of a secret organization is that you don't know it exists. It's secret, you dumb fucks. And everybody knows the term Illuminati. Everybody knows what the Illuminati is supposed to be. That's a sure sign that it doesn't exist. And secondly, the Illuminati did exist. They were a real historical group, and they're gone now. Like, I can run down the history. Like, I'm obsessed with cults. I'm obsessed with secret groups that have existed in the past. And the Illuminati, yes, was a real group. But they got wiped out. Just like most secret groups, when they get found out. Because once they're found out, they're not secrets anymore. So if your dumb ass think all these conspiracies and secret organizations are real, then your ass is probably not woke. Because it's all bullshit. And that's another thing. If you're given all this information that you have, and you think you got it, and that's what makes you aware, that's the easiest way to not be aware.
Mm-hmm.
Because the easiest thing for and this is the internet age. This is what's done all the time. The easiest way to hide something is to put information in front of you. The easiest way to hide the truth is for somebody to tell you that something else is the truth, so you don't look at what's really happening. Every think piece, everything that's put in front of you, that you read and you get knowledge out of, and that you think you have all the information you need for, and that you're woke and you know what's going on and you're just amazing, you probably don't. Because you have the information that you are given. And the information you are given is never a full view of things. Which brings me to my next point. If you say you're woke in any group and your vision is focused on one thing, then you have no idea what you're talking about. Because a word we use on this show all the time is intersectionality.
Yup.
And everything crisscrosses and combines to create what's happening. If you go, I am woke and I am pro-black and I'm everything about black people. Well, if you're not defending black women, and if you're not also defending black LGBT people, and if you're not also addressing those issues in the black community, the toxicity, the toxic masculinity in the black community, the trouble, the trouble that religion plays in the black community, and all these other things in the black community that are detrimental to it, then you are not woke. If you are not willing to call out problems in your own communities, then what the fuck are you doing? If you're only seeing ahead of you and not what's around you, then you can't say you woke for shit. And this doesn't even just go for black people. This goes for LGBT community. If you're out here marching for your rights, but aren't addressing problematic attitudes towards race, because I hear that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not addressing that, if you're not addressing bi erasure, pan erasure, trans erasure,
yeah, LGBT youth homelessness, right,
then you're not woke. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're lashing out at what you perceive as a problem without actually addressing issues in your communities.
Mm-hmm.
I could go on. If you want to be woke, if that's what everybody wants to be now, if everybody wants to be aware and say they have all the intelligence and all the awareness and all the wisdom, then you need to step the fuck up. You need to step up and start addressing issues, even if they're problematic in your own communities. You need to step up and see what you're doing. That might be fucked up. You got to look in that mirror. You got to look in the faces of the people you love and the people you care about, the people around you, as well as the people on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not, then you ain't doing shit. You sleeping. See, I ain't gonna say I'm woke, but I'm trying to stay awake. I'm trying to keep my eyes focused, keep my eyes open to see what all the what problems may be out there. Because also being woke is an ongoing process. You never stop. You never stop keeping, you always keep looking, keep finding stuff. You keep seeing where the problems are and trying to address them. You need to be more than woke. You need to be an insomniac. And I realize that I've gone from podcast host to preacher here in like a 10-minute window.
Yeah.
But it's so damn true. Like, oh my God, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it anymore. Like, if you're gonna be woke for real. But if you're not, stop using the word. Stop using it. Stop claiming it. Stop using it against other people. Get on your game. Be the person that you pretend to be, that you say you are. Be the person that helps society. Be the person that helps better everyone. Because that's what being woke is. You ain't just trying to fight for yourself, your people. You are trying to fight to make everyone's world better. You fighting for everybody. Even your enemy. Because the fucked up shit that affects you also affects them negatively. And to fix that stuff makes the world a better place for you and for them. That's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people want to fight. They want to fight the people who are oppressing them. And yes, you fight them. You fight them. But you're fighting them to make the world a better place for you and them and their children. I don't think they heard me on that one. I don't think they did. I got a lot.
You do. You're fired up.
It's because I've been dealing with people. One of the things that, and we've talked about this before, when you curate your social media, you curate your circle.
Yep.
I
mean, necessarily, right? Like, I don't do it with my regular Facebook page, right? I do, right. But the one that I check most often is the one that I created for Esme. And right. So there's a pretty clear, like, way by which I get friends on right. that Facebook page.
Right. But, like, we've talked about this before. I don't curate as much, and the reason, and this has always been even before the age of social media, even before, like, when I was younger, I prefer to be in the muck. I prefer to just interact. As messed up as it is, as infuriating as it makes me, and as frustrated as it makes me, I prefer to see people from everywhere, even from, like, even people that piss me off, because I need to know. Like, I need to know how people are thinking. I need to know how I need to know how the entire rainbow, the entire spectrum of people are thinking, in order to better tailor what I need to do in life to make the world a better place. Which is, like I said, it's frustrating, but I purposefully do it. I get dirty. So, like, more and more recently, these issues have been coming up, and and even in the groups, I've more curated that the specific groups that I go in for specific reasons. I'm seeing these issues pop up, and I've been calling them out more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to be doing. You need to be calling shit out, and you need to be doing more. You need to be constantly growing, constantly evolving. You need to stay woke. Be an insomniac. Stay woke. Drink your caffeine. I mean, I don't fuck with coffee, but Coke, Red Bull. I mean, I don't really fuck with that shit either, but y'all know what I'm saying. Like, keep your asses up. Don't get lazy. Don't get sloppy. Don't narrow your view. Stay woke. In the words of Childish Gambino, stay woke, because niggas creeping. They gonna find you. They gonna catch you sleeping. I'm done.
I just wound you up and let you go. No, you wound yourself up and just went.
It's true. See, this is what 3 weeks with no show does.
Yeah.
Because I can't. I need to vent. I can't vent.
Yeah.
So, man, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh no! Look, I am. This is gonna be a test of our listening base. If they're gonna sit through that, they're gonna sit through anything. It's a lot of passion in it, so you like passion. And not extremely heavy use of the N-word, but just enough to make some of our white listeners a little nervous. I didn't use the hard R. I never used that.
Well, yeah. I feel like anybody who knows you knows what's going on with this, right? They're not. They know. They know what's going on. They know what to expect.
They do. Which, speaking of the hard R, we're going to have an issue in the near future about language reclamation. And we're going to have a nigga-sode soon. That's what I'm calling it, the nigga-sode.
You're going to.
That's what I'm going to do. But yeah, we're going to have a discussion on reclaiming language and why you probably shouldn't say the N-word if you're not black. But that's for a later show.
That's for another episode.
But it's going to episode coming soon because it's fresh on my mind and I want to talk about it. But with that being said, we're going to move on into our next segment after a little more razzmatazz with the music. Enjoy.
And welcome back, everyone, to the sex segment. Thank you again to our musical guest for this week for providing us music, because you're amazing. So this week, so I talk about sex toys a lot. I don't know if you know. Because I have a lot of sex toys. I don't know if you know. Whatever.
I mean, you talk about sex toys? Oh my God, really?
I know. Shocked. Everybody is shocked and appalled, I'm sure.
Who's
Right?
Paul?
Oh, I didn't tell you about Paul? No, I'm just kidding.
Paul.
No, I'm just kidding. So, Paul is the name of my new sex toy. No, I'm kidding. So I've talked about my sex toys. I've talked about sex toy materials. I've talked about sex toy body safety, and I've talked about body safety a million times. But one thing that I have not, I've touched on it in some of my conversations about materials and things, but have not really spent a ton of time going into depth on, is one of the aspects of body safety when you're talking about sex toys is the ability to sanitize your toys and to clean them properly. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Is we're going to talk about how to clean your sex toys properly depending on the material that it is. Yay! Let's talk about cleaning, guys, because that's the kind of podcast this is now.
I mean, people need to be clean. They don't want infections in their bits.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying. Different materials require different cleaning methods. Surprise, right? One of the things that I have harped on over and over when we talk about materials and body safety is toys being porous, right? And one of the things that makes porous toys, even if the material itself is not toxic, it doesn't put off chemicals, it doesn't off gas, it doesn't do any of that to where it's not going to cause you physical health problems itself, a porous toy is kind of riding the line of like what is and is not body safe, because a porous toy is not, it's not possible to sanitize that toy. Right? It doesn't matter how thoroughly you clean it. It doesn't matter if you soak it in bleach. It doesn't matter what you do with it. You cannot get all of the bacteria that got into that toy out of it, right? Or mold particle or mold spores, right? So that's one of the reasons that porous toys are kind of riding the line. You don't ever want to share them. You want to use a condom on them if it's going to be exposed to fluids, and you want to be constantly, before you use it, every time that you use it, you need to check it for material integrity. You need to check it for weird smells or weird discoloration that could indicate that there's a bacterial overgrowth in it or a mold growth in it. And if you notice any of that, you have to throw it away. Typically, porous toys, if you're just using it for yourself, you can get a week or a couple of weeks worth of use out of it, depending on how thoroughly you clean it. You can use bleach on it, or bleach solution. Like, don't use straight bleach on any of your toys, probably. Right? You can use bleach solution on it in a 10-to-1 solution. 10 parts water to 1 part bleach solution. But even using the bleach solution on a porous toy is not going to completely get rid of any bacteria that are in there. It may or may not. I don't know. You could. What the manufacturers recommend is just washing it with warm water and soap, and then letting it air dry, which, if that's what the manufacturer recommends, like, that's probably going to be the best option, the best thing that you can do for it. As far as talking about soap, the soap that you use sort of depends on how sensitive you are to, like, fragrances and stuff all up in your bits. I am particularly, like, I'm sensitive to stuff like that. So what I usually use is, for a while, I used the spray that they sell at the toy store, right? The, like, sex toy cleaning spray, whatever, which is fine. But really all that is like it's all it is basically like soap water, right? It's just a cleanser solution. So what I use now, because it's a whole lot cheaper and I have a whole lot of it, is I dilute Castile soap. I use Dr. Bronner's because it was super easy to find. Like unscented Dr. Bronner's liquid soap, and dilute that in water and use that. And it does the job just fine, as far as cleaning with soap goes. And that's what I do for most of my toys that I use, like, for most purposes, right? Like, I don't do a lot of anal, so I don't worry about that so much. Most of the stuff that I do is just vaginal or external. And so I keep it set aside, wash it really good with soap, let it air dry, and then call it a day. If anything does get exposed to anal anything, like if I use anything anally, or if I'm going to be sharing with a partner, I do make the extra effort to sanitize my toys. Which the number one way that I do that is with bleach. No, that's not true. I use bleach on anything that vibrates, right? But the number one thing that I do, just because it's super easy and handy, is I boil my toys. Which is hilarious when you invite people over to your house and forgot to put your pot of sex toys away. And so there's just a pot of sex toys in the kitchen. One of my friends did that. Did I tell you that, Keem? Yeah, I had cooked up my sex toy soup earlier that day and had left it out, like drained the water off and left it out to cool down because, don't know if you know, a steel dildo, when it's boiled, gets really hot and you don't want to handle that right away. So I let him sit out to cool down a little bit, and one of my friends came over and was like, "Oh, what did you make?" And opened up the pot and was like, "Oh, those are sex toys," and closed the pot. I was like, "Yep, those are sex toys."
Dick soup.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I said the word dick. Oh. Sorry.
What? Why? Why are you sorry?
I'm sorry for my disgust at my own using of a word.
You're an interesting one. I love you. Boiling works. Boil it for a couple of minutes. Kills off the bacteria, and that works with any of the true body safe materials, right? You can boil silicone, you can boil steel, you can boil glass, you can boil no, that's it. Steel, metal, or like any kind of metal, glass, silicone, you can boil. Anything else, anything that's made of plastic, anything that is made that has anything that has a motor in it, you shouldn't expose your motor to the heat of boiling. So anything that has a motor in it, and anything that's made of wood. If you have any wood toys, which I don't, and I need to get some. Oh my god. Anything that's made of wood, you can sanitize, or I mean, any of these other toys also, right? Anything made of silicone, anything made of glass, anything made of metal, you can sanitize with bleach solution. They also make a bunch of things that are designed to smell better, I guess, or something, or be less harsh on the skin. I don't know. I need to look those up, but I don't use any of those because they're expensive and hard to find. But specific solutions for sanitizing things like this, right? Things that are exposed to bodily fluids and need to be sanitized. But the easiest way to do it is just to do a 10-to-1, like water to bleach solution, the same kind of thing you would use to like clean your toilet. Does the same thing, right? Kills all the germs. And yeah, like, what else? That's basically it. Sanitize your toys, guys. If you're just using it on yourself, soap and water is probably going to be sufficient. If you have any cracks or crevices or anything like that, make sure that you get everything out of there, right? Get at it thoroughly. But if you're just using it on yourself, soap and water will get the job done because you're not worried about disease, right? You're not worried about spreading anything like that. If you are using your toys anally, or if you are sharing with a partner, if you're sharing your toys with another person, sanitize your toys.
Right.
Yes, sanitize your toys just for that extra level of I want to make doubly sure that like nothing accidentally gets transmitted by having a trace of something that shouldn't be there. If you have porous toys, don't share them. You cannot sanitize them. It's not safe to share them. So wash them with gentle soap and water. Let them air dry. And porous toys there's a lot of dildos that are made of porous materials. A lot of almost every stroker that's on the market is made of TPE, which is or something else, right? Some of them are cyberskin, some of them are whatever. Which, unless it's actual TPE, like that's what the label on it is, that may have other issues with regards to body safety. But a TPE is not toxic, but it is porous. So, but most strokers, or almost all of the strokers on the market are porous. There's a lot of dildos that are on the market. Even some like anal toys, butt plugs and things. So make sure that you read carefully what the material is. If you're going with anal play, your best bet really is something that can be sanitized. Hard plastic, glass, metal, or silicone. That's what you want to go with, because that way you know you can sanitize it. And also, like, slap a condom on your porous toy if you're concerned about it, right? Especially if it's going inside you. If it's going inside you, slap a condom on it, because that is just a great way to then the next time you use it, you didn't get all the you were not able to get all the bacteria out of it. So now there's bacteria inside you that may not have caused a problem before, but now it could. So
right.
Questions, Keem?
No questions. No
okay.
questions.
Yeah, this is not a super in-depth thing, right? This is not a super in-depth, detailed, like intense conversation. It's pretty light, but it is important, right? It is important. Make sure that you're not accidentally causing problems for yourself
and others,
right? By being lazy about your cleanliness in this, right? There's sometimes I will fully admit that I slack off on my cleaning. I don't slack off on my cleaning of my sex toys, because that's a good way to get somebody sick. So don't get people sick. Clean your toys properly.
Clean your shit, yo.
Yes. And don't use scented soap on your toys, because even if you rinse it, residue can still linger, and it might cause irritation. Use a gentle, unscented soap. I like Dr. Bronner's unscented Castile liquid soap, but that's just me.
Dr. who?
Dr. Bronner's. Do you not know Dr. Bronner's?
No, that sounds like something that white people who can afford stuff will buy.
All right, go. Okay, so yeah, basically. But also go to the soap aisle at the grocery store, pick up a thing of Dr. Bronner's, and just read the label. That man was batshit crazy. It's hilarious. It is just utter nonsense. It's amazing.
You're not making a good case on why I should get his product.
I'm not saying buy the product. I'm saying pick it up and read the label. It's hilarious. I mean, the case for the product is that the product is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. But that man was a little crazy. He said a lot of stuff that makes no damn sense. It makes no sense.
Sounds like a quack to me.
That may or may not be the case, but the label is extremely entertaining. Anyway.
What?
So that is the end of my sex segment. It was a quick and dirty one this time.
Well, actually, it wasn't dirty. It was pretty clean.
Right? I mean, it was dirty and then it was clean. I cleaned it up for you guys.
Sort of like me.
I feel like you're dirtier now than when I found you.
I don't know. Could be a little dirtier. Depends on what you call dirty.
Anyway, let's wrap this one up, Keem.
Let's wrap it up.
Just like your porous toys.
Yeah, yep. See, that's what I was going to say. But as we always do, special thanks to our musical guests for providing our music. Special thanks to the Living Room Leftists, as always, for providing our theme song.
Yay.
Guys, thanks for joining us again after I know the wait has been so long, and I know you're all waiting so anxiously for our triumphant return, I'm sure. I'm trying to think. Oh, once again, you can chat with us on Discord. There's no one in our Discord chat because of stuff. But if you want to come chat with us, we will be there. The link is on our Facebook page. It will probably be in the description of this episode as well.
It will definitely be in the description of this episode, because how else will they find us?
Yes, that Esme is right.
Come find us. Come talk to us.
Come talk to us.
Come talk to us.
I'm pretty bored this summer, and I don't have a lot of friends.
Oh, you have me.
True. I have some good friends. They're all so far away. I need people to talk to.
That is true.
Trying to think of what else. Once again, if you're a musician and would like to have your music featured, please let us know. If you're somebody who would like to come on our show, also, please let us know. We would love to have you. And I think that's it. As always, this has been Keem and Esme, and we are out.
But there are these things that matter, and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.